Hello and welcome to Starside Chat, the first ever podcast for our new Starside Cafe YouTube channel. Joining me is Aaron Capo.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. And joining me is Zach Owens.
That's me. So, I thought this would be a good opportunity to sort of introduce ourselves and the channel and what we're doing, I guess. So we both wanted to do a gaming YouTube channel, and so I had an idea for a video series that involved playing a game one of us hadn't played before, and just sort of seeing where that went and seeing if I could maybe convince you to play something that you hadn't played before, or the other way around.
So far, you have been unsuccessful in that.
That is true.
That was the kernel of the idea, and then we just started making other videos as well, and it's a lot of fun. And now we decided to do a podcast about it.
Yeah, so this podcast could be a good way to sort of expand on some of the stuff we were doing in our video series, and also just because podcasting can be fun.
And just to be clear, the YouTube channel is not just going to be the one series. It's going to be like coverage of everything, basically. It's, there will be series where we take looks at old games and things like that, but it'll also be news and just like general speculation and discussion about video games in general.
Yeah, we're ready for aggressive expansion.
I guess video games and other media, because we're going to talk about some movies.
Yeah,
as well.
I want to talk about movies as well, because I was a cinema major, and I used to write a film blog, so I am also interested in talking about movies, so we should definitely do some of that.
I used to work at an indie movie theater for like 4 years, so I also have a deep-seated love of cinema, so that will definitely come up on the podcast. But this is episode 1.
Episode 1, yeah, so we should talk about the stuff we've been playing lately. So what have you been playing?
I bought Bayonetta 2 on Switch because I had played the first one a super long time ago on 360, and it was really good. And I like all those kind of crazy Japanese beat-em-up games with like insane plots and where you're sort of unlocking weapons and moves, and each weapon is just insane and giant and changes the way the game plays a little bit. There's probably like a name for that kind of, but like Devil May Cry is another one of those, or that one Metal Gear Rising. Not Metal Gear Rising.
Revengeance?
Yeah, Revengeance. So I picked up Bayonetta 2 because it came out on Switch, and I never played it because I never had a Wii U. And man, it is super good.
That would be a good candidate for our blind spotting, because I have not played any Bayonetta game.
Man, it's so crazy because the plot is insane. It's like heaven versus hell, and you're kind of in the middle of it. And I guess maybe technically you represent hell, but I'm not sure. But hallmarks of that game include like fighting on crazy stuff that is moving. Like the first part of Bayonetta 2 takes place on the back of a fighter jet that's flying through New York, and you're just like fighting giant crazy angels on top of it. It's very good.
Oh man, yeah, every time I look at that game it seems insane, and I kind of almost don't know what to make of it. So
I think I sent you a Snapchat. I had unlocked like a Link costume from The Legend of Zelda, and I also had unlocked the ability to have giant chainsaws on my hands and legs that I could just like glide around on. I mean, it's a pretty good game, I have to say.
I mean, it seems crazy. You'll have to show it to me sometime. Maybe we'll do a blind spotting with it. So
definitely.
I have been playing, as you know, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
Yes,
and then
you did a video about it.
In anticipation of Far Cry 5, but also because, I don't know, I really wanted to play the 80s Far Cry game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we did a blind spotting on it. It was a blind spot for me, but it's kind of not anymore. I haven't finished it yet. I'm still working my way through it, but it is such a good game. It's the style is awesome. The movement and shooting mechanics are great. We kind of went over that, but
yeah, watch the video on the site.
Yeah, watch the video.
YouTube.
Maybe we'll link to it in the show notes. Or you can just find
Rewatching the video, and also I guess participating in the video, really made me want to get back into playing Blood Dragon, because it's just like I never played it on PC. I only ever played it on console, so
it is very good on PC.
I might pick it up on PC.
Yeah, it's going for pretty cheap these days, and it's that Far Cry formula. I kind of like it. Even we talked about how we're not super interested in the Far Cry 5 setting, but the formula for like the things you do in the game are still fun to me.
It's very true.
So I might still be into it.
The whole like coming up on a base of operations you need to take and like using your eyeglass or camera to like mark enemies and either going stealth or setting up a crazy domino effect to create chaos is really, really fun. And it's what makes the Far Cry series so great, in my opinion. But I don't know, Far Cry 5 has not like hooked me yet.
We'll see. We'll have to look at it when it actually comes out.
Yeah.
The other thing I've been playing, well, I've technically been playing, I started Nier Automata. How do you say it?
I say Automata.
I've heard it both ways. I don't really know what's right, but I've been playing that game somewhat. Like I started it maybe a couple weeks ago, and I had to put it down so that I could play some stuff for the channel, and I haven't picked it back up yet, but I want to because I was having fun with it. It's pretty crazy. You start off and it's more like a twin stick shooter, or like one of those old school like arcade games where it's like a top down and you're flying the ship.
Oh.
And then
I didn't know that.
later it becomes like a more standard like hack and slash, like third person hack and slash, and there's even some like shooter elements to it. It's really interesting, and I never played the first Nier game, but this one's been pretty cool, and the soundtrack is pretty great.
Wait, I didn't know this was a sequel. Is there a first one?
There is. I don't remember what year it came out, but there was a Nier long time ago, and I never played it.
This, like from videos, it looks like a Bayonetta type thing where it's third-person hack and slash, and you're constantly getting crazy weapons.
Yeah, so
is that accurate to say?
Yeah, it seems like if you liked Bayonetta, from what little I've seen of Bayonetta, you would probably be into this game as well.
I have almost bought it like 5 times. I was telling you before we started recording, and it's cheap now. Like I think it's like 50% off on Steam right now.
Yeah,
so it's like $30.
Yeah, it was $30. It was on sale. It's been on sale for a while, but yeah, that's when I picked it up. And yeah, it is going for probably about $30 on Steam. I think it was even $30 on PS4, so you could get it either way. I think I've been using a controller because I thought the mouse and keyboard controls weren't that great with it. I was not having a good time with them, so I swapped to a controller.
Yeah, I only really like mouse and keyboard controls for first-person shooters. Third-person, I don't know, especially third-person where you're like hacking and slashing real-time combat.
Yeah.
I find to be a little not great.
Yeah, I'm used to using a controller. I'm kind of newer to PC gaming, so I'm not quite that great at them yet, but playing games like Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is helping me with the whole mouse and keyboard control. I also played Titanfall 2 like a few weeks ago, and so that was another good time to actually test myself with the mouse and keyboard.
We didn't really talk about that, but I never played that, but I did watch a full playthrough of it on YouTube, and I should have played it because it looked very fun, but I was going to ask you what your favorite like mech style was in that game.
Oh, I don't remember the names of the mechs.
There's the sword one, the fire one, the one that like shoots an ion beam out of its chest, I think.
I found the sword one to be difficult because you had to go actually engage them up close, and usually that meant I was going to be taking a lot of damage. So I struggled with that one. And it seemed like they were giving you new mechs or new styles of mech pretty regularly. And then there was like almost immediately after that, you knew if you got one, there was going to be like sort of a mini boss fight type of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like you think they're kind of guiding you, okay, this mech is going to be good against that mech, so use this one to take that one down. And that wasn't always the case. Sometimes I would struggle with that one, and I would have to swap to a different one that I liked better. But I liked the ones that had either like the heavy machine gun, or there was one that I forget what the main gun was, but it had like this, I think kind of what you were talking about, that crazy like laser blast for like a power shot that did a bunch of damage. So those were the ones I tended to use the most.
You've been playing anything else?
I have, actually. So over the weekend, I jumped back into Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered.
Now, I thought that couldn't you only get that as like an add-on to another game?
There was a time when that was true, yes. Originally, I think it was the last of like the future warfare ones. I forget the name of it. Probably Advanced Warfare or something like that. It was tied to that, so you had to buy like the special expensive edition of that game in order to get it. And I think over time they realized people wanted to play remastered Modern Warfare. They didn't want the other one, so they split it up, and now you can get it separately.
So you and your brother were checking it out?
Yeah, so my brother's been in town for spring break lately, so we over the weekend we were playing some of that. We were trading off because he doesn't have a PS4, so it was like the old style, how you like couch co-op but not
the best.
Yeah. And yeah, it's been fun. I was surprised how much fun I was having with it, and the fact that the experience kind of holds up, because I was super into it way back when it originally came out. Like, that was one of the first multiplayer games I was really into.
That was the first, I mean, as the name suggests, wasn't that the first time that shooters were in like a modern warfare setting? Like previous to that, I feel like it was all the World War II stuff.
Yeah, definitely with Call of Duty and like Battlefield, this was the first modern shooter. And so that was a big deal, but also just the fact that the progression system really sort of revolutionized multiplayer games. It changed the way we think about them because...
What do you mean?
Well, before that, like Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 3 and even like Halo 3, there really wasn't much of a progression system. It was just you jump on with your friends and you shoot them up and then it's over and you play the next game. With Modern Warfare, there was this emphasis on one more game, you know, like you start off with these basic classes, and then once you reach rank like 5 or whatever, you get create a class, so you can start customizing your loadout to how you like it. And so then you'll start off with this one gun and you'll use that, and then at the end of the game you're like, oh, I only need like a few more kills to get this attachment for it, so I have to play one more game. And so you do that, you play one more game and you get the attachment, and then you're like, oh, now I have to try this attachment, so one more game. So you go out there, you play one more game, and then you're like, oh, I'm pretty close to another rank up, and if I do that I'll get this other gun, and then I really want to try that. So it's just this like never ending loop of satisfaction of getting new stuff.
What you're describing is addiction.
Yeah, that's what it was. It definitely was that.
Interesting.
But yeah, it seems like after Call of Duty 4 came out, just about every other game was trying to repeat what they were doing, because they wanted
Titanfall 1 did that.
They wanted that player retention. They wanted people continuing to play it over and over again.
So I played Titanfall 1 when it came out. I know 2 was a lot better, but 1 was pretty good, even though it was only multiplayer. And they did the same thing where, like, if you wanted like crazy guns, you had to play over and over and over again, which was fun. But once you unlocked all the guns, you sort of lost any desire to play.
Yeah.
But
I guess it would have the opposite effect. Yeah, once you finish unlocking everything, you're like, well, now what am I working towards?
Just depends.
But usually you've spent a long time playing if you've unlocked everything. So I know Battlefield started doing the same thing, and I want to say there were other ones that did something similar. But yeah, it was started with Modern Warfare, and that was, in my opinion, still the best Call of Duty. Like, I sort of fell off and stopped playing them after the first Black Ops. But going back to Modern Warfare, just everything still feels pretty right about that game. Like, in more recent ones, I rented, I think, World War II, which was the most recent one, and I tried out the multiplayer in that one, and it's not the same, because the time to kill is even less than it was in Modern Warfare. So it just doesn't feel right, whereas it does in Modern Warfare. So I'm glad to have this remastered edition to be able to go back every once in a while and sort of have this nostalgic experience.
I have never really been into any of those Call of Duty or Battlefield games in
You seem
general.
like more of a Halo guy.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with the Halos, so I like a sci-fi setting. I like interesting, crazy guns, and more of like a floaty. I guess not floaty's the wrong word, but like jumping high, being able to mantle on stuff and running really fast. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I play a lot of PUBG now, which is a modern, like, real world setting. But I mean, PUBG with crazy aliens would be my dream game. Not necessarily my dream game, but it would be really fun to play, I think.
Say, I was the opposite. I started out not really caring about sci-fi stuff that much. Like, I wasn't as into Halo as everyone else. Like, I had friends that was like their multiplayer shooter, and they would all get together and they'd want to play it. And
Yeah.
I didn't have an original Xbox back when like Halo and Halo 2 were such a big deal. So when I would play with them, I would get destroyed because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, "This is a bad experience. It's not fun. What are you guys doing?" I would get like the Call of Duties and I would play those, or I would get like Ghost Recon or those games that you could play like a cooperative thing, like a terrorist hunt. And I would play those with my brother, and so we would be super into those. So I ended up more into the modern military stuff for a while. But then over time, I've kind of drifted more towards the sci-fi stuff. Like I've been playing Destiny with you and games like that, and like Mass Effect and other such sci-fi games that I think now I'm probably more likely to play like a sci-fi shooter than a military shooter.
Yeah, my high school experience was like every Friday night going over to someone's house, and we would get two Xboxes and link them together, and we had like a really long Ethernet cord, and we would be in different rooms playing against each other for like hours and hours at a time. So Halo was very formative for me. Halo 2 more than Halo, the original one. But anyway, should we get to the news of the week?
We should, yeah. Let's move on.
Number one news item of the week: you got a new keyboard, Zach.
It's true, I did. So it was my birthday in the first
Happy
week
birthday.
of March, and so I got a keyboard, and it's a Corsair K63. It's the 10 keyless one.
You like a 10 keyless?
I do, just because it suits my current setup, because I don't have a ton of desk space, so it's nice to have like a more compact keyboard.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, I'm kind of newer to PC gaming, so I'm not like an expert on all this stuff. I'm just kind of learning as I go, and so this is like my first mechanical keyboard. Everybody wants those cool mechanical switches.
Yeah, man, you gotta get those Cherry MXs.
That's what this keyboard has. So, and I find I like it quite a bit. I definitely think it's a much better experience playing on this keyboard than it was my old keyboard, which was just like a standard membrane keyboard.
Yeah.
What keyboard do you have again?
I have a Logitech one. I don't remember like the model number, but Logitech has their own proprietary switches called Romer Gs, which if you go on like the mechanical keyboard subreddit, everyone hates Romer G switches.
Oh, really?
But I don't mind them. Well, because they're not like the mechanical keyboard subreddit is all about like customization and making like your ideal. They're also really into like 10 keyless, so they're really into Cherry MXs because there's a bunch of different brand like colors of those, and each one of them is a different feel, and also you can swap them out, and they're easily customizable. But I don't know, I like mine a lot. I got it because it was like the cheapest one, and also I only needed like there's a bunch of them where you can do multiple colors, and I only really wanted one that lit up, and so this one only lights up red, which is totally fine. And I have a Logitech headset and mouse as well, so I already had the software to like run them or whatever.
Yeah, mine only
And I
lights
like it a
up
lot.
blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have a Logitech mouse, but I don't know. I like Corsair keyboards because they have the dedicated media controls.
Yeah, I don't really listen to a lot of media on my PC, so I feel like I would not get a lot of use out of those.
I do, like when I'm typing or just working on stuff, or if I'm just sort of
Yeah.
at my computer not doing other things. Plus, it's nice to have those like volume buttons, even for when I'm like playing a game.
Yeah, that's true.
I also got a headset. You don't know about this one. It's the Sennheiser Game 1.
Ooh, Sennheiser is a good brand.
It is a good brand, and it feels so pillowy and soft on my head, and it's really, really nice. It's also an open back design, so it doesn't like completely block out all sound from that's around
Nice.
you, which I prefer to the headset I was using before that.
Is it wireless or is it plugged in USB?
It's plugged in, but it's a removable cord because it has two different types of cords, like one for PC and one for like plugging into your PS4 controller.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's really nice. And the microphone thing, when you bring it down, it like there's this click to let you know that it's on, and when you fold it up, there's like a click to let you know it's muted, which is pretty nice.
Mine has that, but it's just a light. So it's like impossible to see when it's. I mean, when you push it all the way up, you know that it's not when it's muted. But you can't. You'd have to like take it off to look at it to know that the light is off.
Yeah, that's weird. That's always weird to me, having lights and stuff on the side of it. Like, I can't see that well. It's on my head. Yeah, so also in the news for this week, tell me about Drake playing Fortnite.
Fortnite is the hottest shit right now for some reason, and it has overtaken PUBG, and teens love it. Teens, and I guess also people in the music industry, everybody, celebrities even. It's having a real moment in the zeitgeist right now, because not only is it super hot on PC, they just released, or they're about to release, a mobile version, which is apparently really, really good, even though I feel like playing a game like that on a phone would be terrible.
So I can tell you a little bit about that, because I haven't played Fortnite mobile. There is a PUBG mobile coming as well. I think that one's out in like Canada right now.
Yeah, currently it's only out in Canada. I think maybe in Asia as well.
Yeah, I think it was out in China before it was out in Canada. But there's so many PUBG clones on the Play Store right now. So you can find any number of them if you want. And again, because my brother doesn't have a PS4 or a gaming PC, if he plays a game at all, it's going to be on his phone. And he, like everyone else, has been super into the idea of the Battle Royale game mode. And he's seen people playing PUBG, and it made him really want to play it. And so for him, the only alternative to be able to do that is on a mobile device. So he's been playing these PUBG ripoffs, basically. And some of them are pretty decent. And so if he wants me to play with them, I'll play that. And it's weird because I'm like, I could just play PUBG on my computer. But then we wouldn't be able to play together. So I've been playing some of those with him. I think the one we've been playing lately is like Survivor Royale. I think that's what it's called, or some variation of that. But yeah, they're never going to be as good as playing with like a dedicated controller or a mouse and keyboard. One of these days will enable Bluetooth controller support, and then that one will be the best one, in my opinion.
I wonder if Fortnite is going to do that.
They need to. Somebody needs to, because the touchscreen controls are not great. But they're playable.
It's having a moment, and everyone is super into Fortnite. And so the other day, there's a streamer called Ninja, who I was aware of because I think he was one of the people who got in on the Destiny 1 beta, and he's like he was a hashtag pro gamer. I find him to be kind of annoying, but he's very good at the games he plays, because he's like got a Halo background. And he has been streaming a bunch of Fortnite and has apparently found a lot of success streaming Fortnite. He's like one of the biggest Fortnite people. And so the other day, I don't know like how they connected up, but Drake got on his stream, and they decided to play some Fortnite together, and it broke like a shitload of records. Like I think at one point they had like 641,000 people concurrently watching them. And I think some like sports stars also started playing on their crew or whatever. But it was like a crazy. I was like laying around, and it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, I wonder what Twitch is going on. And I like browsed the top games on Twitch, and Fortnite was first, as it always is right now. But I noticed it had like way more viewers than usual. I was like, man, what is happening? And then I looked, and it was that Ninja guy playing with Drake, and Drake is actually pretty good. And then the following day, a bunch of game sites were like, Drake played Fortnite last night. What does this mean?
Yeah, I saw all kinds of articles. I didn't read them because I don't really care about Fortnite or Drake, but,
I like Drake. He seems like a weird guy. But yeah, Fortnite is something that I don't know. I just like PUBG so much more, and I can't get into Fortnite for whatever reason, even though it's literally free.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say it's free. I could download it right now and be playing it, but I just have no desire to do that.
If they enable, well, I have a super old phone is another thing, but if they enable Bluetooth controllers on the mobile version, I might check that out. We could play together and see how that is. But
Oh, just to test
I have a
it?
feeling, yeah, I feel like my phone would just like completely brick and get too hot.
One of these days, one of us is going to have to download that free Fortnite Battle Royale on our PS4s and just try it so that we can talk about it and see how it compares to PUBG.
Yeah,
I don't want to be the
TBD.
one. Maybe it should be you, but we'll see.
We'll see. I don't know. Other thing in the news, this have you heard of Ghost of a Tale?
No.
I've been following this game for a long time. I feel like it's been like 4 years. I don't know, but it finally came out of early access, and it's this. Here, watch the. I linked to some gameplay footage you can watch. It's basically a third-person stealth game where you play this beautifully animated mouse, and I think your wife and child get kidnapped by these big rats, and so you have to kind of figure that out, and you're like a minstrel. You have like a lute on your back, and you just sort of have to escape this prison and then get out into the outside world and protect your.
Is this like an
or find your
RPG
wife.
or more like a...
It's got RPG elements.
Okay. Is it kind of like a Zelda?
I think you can. I don't know if you get like interesting gadgets and like gear. I know that you get different costumes, and the costumes affect the things you can do, I think. But mainly, I think it's a stealth game, at least initially. But it's very beautiful.
It does look
and
very
the
nice.
Animations are very fluid, and it's just like adorable. And it's something that I really, really want to play. But I think I'm going to wait to play with my girlfriend, so I can't play right now. But it's on PC, and I think PS4 and Xbox One ports are forthcoming. But
Is it out now?
It just looks. It's out now on PC. Yeah, it's like $24 on Steam. But it's beautiful. Like it looks so unique.
It does look pretty cool. We should probably come back and play this game.
For sure. I will play it eventually. I just don't know when. But it's something that I'm very much looking forward to, and everyone should go check it out if they're interested, because I think it's an indie. It's definitely an indie thing, and I think maybe like this is probably not true, but I think I read that it's developed by someone from like Pixar or something, or like someone who has a background in like beautifully animated films, and that's why it looks so beautiful.
I can see that, or like one of those DreamWorks films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that animation style.
But that's something that popped up on my radar. I had completely forgotten. I remember a very long time ago reading like alpha updates about this, and then I forgot about it for like 2 or 3 years, and all of a sudden it's out like last week.
What was that other mouse game that came out recently? Wasn't there like maybe it was a VR mouse game?
Yeah, there was a PS4 exclusive PSVR game called Moss that also starred a little mouse.
It's a good time for mouse related games if you want to play as a mouse. Some good stuff coming out.
The other news item, which I don't have a lot on, but GDC starts tomorrow, I believe. And so there'll probably be a bunch of news to talk about on the next podcast.
Oh, we should definitely do a reactions from GDC.
The thing I'm most excited for is I'm fairly certain I heard that Oculus is going to be having like live demos of their Santa Cruz prototype, which is their standalone headset that doesn't need a computer or a phone, that is inside-out tracking and has hand controllers. So it's very exciting technology that I will probably end up getting.
Do you have like a VR headset right now?
I mean, I have a Gear VR. I would have gotten an Oculus when it came out, but I don't have a lot of space to walk around in. I know initially it was like a seated thing, but now it's pretty much room scale. So I don't have a lot of room, and also I can't super justify. I would need to probably build a new PC for it, because my PC is like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
So probably at some point this year or next year, I will begin to invest in like a new. Well, that's the other thing, is like buying graphics card right now is like not a good time. So I might wait until like people solve graphics cards being like twice what they should be. But maybe, I don't know, I might jump on second generation like this whenever that will be. But this is something where I wouldn't need to upgrade my PC and would give me like inside out tracking and the ability to have hand presence, which is like the ideal.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I'm not quite sold on VR yet. It feels like
What?
it still feels like Gen 1 stuff to me. I'm kind of waiting.
It literally is Gen 1.
I know, but they keep like coming out with this new stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh, this one's the game. This one's the game. You got to do now. It's time to get it." And like, I'm like, no, it's still Gen 1. I still want to wait.
Mm-hmm. Your PC could handle VR right now.
It could. I think I would have similar space issues as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still waiting on Gen 2.
Yeah. Well, so this next segment, I don't really have a name for. I just titled it Discussion, and it's sort of just like not necessarily news or reviews or anything. It's just sort of like things we've been, I guess, like talking about regularly. I'm not really sure, but I guess for now, this is the discussion segment.
Yeah, eventually we'll get some sort of cool sound drop for that, and then we'll go into it, and it'll be really cool. So first up, we were going to talk Destiny 2 versus Monster Hunter versus Sea of Thieves.
Now, we have a video about this coming out tomorrow, Monday.
It'll be out by the time you're hearing this.
Yeah, so it'll have been out for like a day by the time. But yeah, we've both played Destiny 2 and been a little disappointed with it. And you've been playing Monster Hunter and Sea of Thieves and have drawn some comparisons, but also realized that Destiny 2 is lacking in some ways that you didn't realize.
Yeah, so they're all fairly different games, but they all have some similar ideas as far as like cooperative play and sort of being that persistent online universe that is kind of a games as service that will keep people coming back, and it's all about player retention and things like that. Obviously, Destiny 2 is not doing very well at that right now.
Everybody hates it.
Everybody hates it. Everybody is abandoning ship. And I don't know what they can do to bring them back, quite honestly. I'm sure there's a big update coming, I think next month, maybe? Is it April or May?
Usually, I feel like it's mid-April, or when did House of Wolves come out? I feel like that was like before my birthday, which is in May. I don't know. But yeah, it is forthcoming. I don't think we've seen anything about it yet. There's been like some supposed leaks, but I don't know if they're true.
Yeah, and they've done some like little updates to try to get people back into it and like balance changes, things like that. But I really think it's gonna take like a big Taken King style update in order to reverse course.
Yeah.
Either that or they just make Destiny 3.
I don't know. Like, I think definitely a Taken King thing is coming, and I think definitely there will be like a new class in that, a new class and a new element.
You think so?
So yeah, I think so. So each class will get a fourth element, but also there will be an entirely new class. I feel like that's something that's definitely coming.
So that's one of the things that Monster Hunter does so much better than Destiny right now, is there are 14 weapon classes, and they all play like their own unique style of class. They all feel very different and unique, and sort of getting one and mastering it and like crafting the best weapons in that class and the different armor sets and all of that. That all feels really interesting and is a lot to keep people coming back. And each monster has different elemental strengths and weaknesses, and so you want a weapon that is specifically designed to deal with that monster, but then you might need a different weapon to deal with a different monster, and the same goes for your armor, so you're constantly needing to craft different things and level them up and building different loadouts and stuff like that. Destiny doesn't do any of that right now. The armor doesn't matter, the weapons mostly don't matter, and each sort of strike boss, I guess, doesn't really have anything interesting about them.
No, it's all the same.
So they definitely could take some cues from that. I don't know if they're going to implement some sort of crafting system. I guess they had.
They did a little bit, I think. I didn't play the first DLC, even though I stupidly bought it. But I think there is some sort of like masterworks, or I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't really know how that system works. It'll be interesting to see how it works and what they do with it, or if they change the what was that? There was what are those? Not decorations, but ornaments, stuff like that. Didn't they have ones for legendaries as well?
Did they? That's crazy to me. I guess that's something that could definitely. I mean, the thing people hate most about Destiny 2 is it seemed like a giant cash grab where, like, ornaments, for example, were pretty much only available from the Eververse store, which cost real money.
Yeah.
So if you wanted interesting looking, I mean, I guess there's something to be said for only like aesthetic stuff is available and it's not like game changing stuff. But I don't know. I feel like they really messed that up, and especially like I think the Valentine's Day thing. They had a Valentine's Day event that was basically just like, oh no, it wasn't Valentine's Day. It was a Festival of the Lost, the Halloween update. That's when people really started to turn on them, because the Festival of the Lost thing was basically like, hey, spend a bunch of money for all these things. Spend real money. Don't play the game. You just spend money to earn progress.
It sounds like, so in Overwatch, all the loot boxes are aesthetic. They don't have anything to do with like unlocking new weapons or characters or anything like that. So people will like not play the game for months, and then they'll do a special event where there's new costumes to get for all of the characters, or not all of them, but some of them. And so people just come in and drop like, $20, $40 buying loot boxes to try to get all the new costumes. And it's like Destiny was like, hey, you guys should come do that for our game too. But instead of like letting it happen naturally, they're like, literally spend money to buy this stuff. That's the only way you can get it.
But you've also been playing Sea of Thieves, which you said also does some things right that Destiny does wrong.
Yeah, so we covered this a little bit in our Sea of Thieves discussion video that we did. I think will have that emergent gameplay quality that everybody talks about with PUBG and Fortnite and those kinds of games, because it is mostly just a hangout game where you and your friends will jump in and you'll go get some buried treasure, and maybe you'll go kill like some legendary skeleton pirate or whatever. But really the concern I have about Sea of Thieves is a similar one to Destiny, where there's not that hook to keep you coming back, because there's not something you need to grind for. There's not like...
Yeah, there's a term that I became aware of a couple of weeks ago, the term looter shooter.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what Destiny is, where it's all about that hot loot that you're getting. And that was like a thing that was great about Destiny 1, I've said in previous videos, is like grinding was fine if you were grinding for stuff that really, really mattered. Like when I got, oh man, what was the name of that sniper in Destiny 1 that had infinite ammo and had that cool scope?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it. Invective was the shotgun, so it's not
Invective
that.
was also something great, yeah. But anyway, like, that's a cool, interesting thing that I felt very powerful to have. And also, everyone was using them in strikes, because you could just, like, hide and have infinite ammo, and it was great. And also did a ton of damage. I don't know, yeah. I think Sea of Thieves doesn't really have those key items that you're grinding for. I think you're just getting, like, better of the same model of sword. It just, like, is gold or, like, a different color.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. It's not like... There's not, like, that power fantasy going on where you're going to get some really cool item, or, like, there's... I'm going to play it, 20 hours a week because I want all three of my different classes to earn this cool item or something like that. Or I want, 3 different chances to get something because there aren't classes. There's just, you have a character and that's all you do. And I think it's not going to retain players if it doesn't have those cool items to get. Like, there's not like a boss that you need to go take out. Yeah, that's what it was called, Icebreaker. But there's not those, like, with Monster Hunter and even with Destiny 1, there was like those strike bosses that were fun to take out. Plus, you would get like some strike specific loot for doing it. And that.
Yeah, there was that. There's that one strike where you could get that Imago loop hand cannon. Yep. And I played that strike so many times because I wanted that Imago, and I finally got it, and it was great.
Yeah, there's not that to be had in Sea of Thieves, at least not that we know of so far, and that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I like I feel like I'm a broken record at this, but I like interesting game changing stuff. Like if you could grind to get like I don't even know what a Sea of Thieves would need. Maybe like a grappling hook, so when you got to islands, you could grapple up like sheer rock faces. That would be cool, but it would probably break their linear progression systems in their dungeons. But I don't know. I just interesting. Like people want interesting items. That's why Zelda's, well, not Breath of the Wild, I guess, but like previous Zeldas, where you're getting those like interesting gadgets, which you then use in dungeons, and it gives dungeons replayability because now you can get to places that you couldn't before. It's just like also just for merchandising. Like I would love to buy a real world hookshot. You know, like. Things you can make toys out of is such a good idea.
Yeah, I think there's potential for unique items, but right now, I think you just get all the basic gear, and all there is to do is those sort of, they look basically like fetch quests, and then with the money you earn, you can buy like the gold pistol, or It's like, is that really going to keep me playing it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we really go into discussion about this in the video, so check that out if you haven't already. But other things we were going to discuss. I guess we kind of already talked about PUBG versus Fortnite. But have you heard about this Tomb Raider thing that's been going around the internet?
I have not. Tell me about it.
Tomb Raider, I think, came out this week, and people are drawing a lot of parallels to The Last Crusade. Because, I mean, it's similar... where it's like archaeologists going and finding interesting. But more specifically, The Last Crusade is about Indiana Jones trying to find his dad. He's not sure if he's alive or dead, but then he is alive, and they start working together to tackle this thing. Tomb Raider also is about someone who thinks maybe their father's alive or dead. Then she finds him, and then they start working together. Also, there is a thing at the end of Last Crusade where they have to finish these 3 tasks in order to get into the secret lair or whatever. And
does she have a Grail
Tomb
diary?
Basically, I think. But there's the leap of faith in Last Crusade, and in this one, it's just like a rickety ladder across a chasm. There's a thing where you have to step on the name of God, and there's a thing where she needs to step on specific parts of the floor. There's a lot of parallels.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That's kind of disappointing. I guess that's been the Hollywood method lately, though, to make movies that are essentially modern or new remakes, but they're not remakes in, I guess, official name. But they did that with Creed, which was the Rocky movie, and then obviously Star Wars The Force Awakens was basically A New Hope, and even though Tomb Raider doesn't have any ties to Indiana Jones, apparently it's The Last Crusade, so makes sense.
I mean, was this something that was on your radar? Were you going to go see this?
I was, yeah. So it looked to me like it was based on that first rebooted Tomb Raider game that they had made.
It is, I think. She even has, I think, one of those, I don't know what you call them, but those weird axe-looking things that you use to climb up stuff. That was a key feature in the first Tomb Raider game, which was a great game. And I believe that she has that in this. And it also looks very similar, you're right.
That, and I like Alicia Vikander. I think she's really cool. So I would watch the movie for her and for the fact that it's sort of based on that rebooted Tomb Raider game that I liked quite a bit.
Did you ever play the sequel to that only came out on Xbox for 1 year and then was released on PC?
I did not, no.
I really want to play that. I was thinking about that this week because they released a teaser for the 3rd game in the series, which is coming out in September, called, I think, The Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which looks really crazy.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about the Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I just know that the name was revealed recently.
Yeah, there were some early leaks, and I think it takes place in South America, or there's like some like Aztec stuff going on. But the second Tomb Raider is probably, I think I heard good things about it. I just couldn't play it because I didn't have an Xbox. But now that it's on Steam, that's something else that I might pick up. That's a blind spotting for both
Yeah, I
of
was going to
us.
say that would be a good candidate for blind spotting. You should definitely get that and we can feature it, I guess.
We'll see.
So, what other movies are coming out this week? I feel like there's a bunch of stuff I want to see.
We are getting into hot times at the movie theater times because this week is Isle of Dogs and Pacific Rim Uprising, and then next week is Ready Player One, and then I think there's something else the following week, and then of course Infinity Wars at the end of April. But yeah, this week's releases are Isle of Dogs, which we both love, Wes Anderson, and Pacific Rim Uprising, which I will probably end up seeing this weekend.
Yeah, I have really been looking forward to Isle of Dogs. And speaking of VR stuff, I have that the Google VR. What is that called? Yeah,
Daydream?
Daydream View. And they have, those spotlight stories. I guess you don't have to have the headset to watch it. It just makes it cooler. But you can download that Spotlight Stories app. It's like a Google thing. And they have an Isle of Dogs animation in there that I really want to watch. And I was trying to download it, and for whatever reason, I was having a hard time downloading it. But I want to watch that. And there was also a recent, I want to say it was like a short film, or it was more like a commercial where they had all the different voice actors who were. It was the actual dogs on screen, but they were all telling everybody about themselves, and it was kind of funny. But yeah, I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan, so I'm really looking forward to this one.
What about Pacific Rim?
I don't know. I'm less a fan of Pacific Rim, to be honest. But I'll probably see it at some point, I'm sure. I like Finn. What's his name? Yeah, John Boyega. I like John Boyega, so maybe I'll watch it for that guy and see what he's up to. I also like Guillermo del Toro. It's him again, right?
Is it that?
I
don't
mean,
know.
that's his franchise, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe. That's a maybe for me. Or a wait and rent it, or see what everybody says about it and then go see it.
My girlfriend really wants to see it, so I think we are going to go see it this weekend.
You'll have to tell me about it.
I will. Speaking of movies, something you saw is that Jared Leto Yakuza Netflix movie.
Yeah, the Outsider.
How's that? I hate Jared Leto.
Not The Foreigner, because that's the Jackie Chan one. So they had to call it something else. So they called it The Outsider. And yeah, I'm also not super big on Jared Leto, but I thought it was a kind of interesting premise. It's it's sort of post World War II in Japan, and he.
Oh, I didn't realize it was in the past.
Yeah, so it's after World War II, and there's like a bunch of it's very like they're kind of racist, but the white people, the Americans in Japan, are also kind of racist against them, and so there's some of that. And somehow or another, Jared Leto starts the movie in jail. They don't say how, but he's in jail. Apparently, he's a former soldier, but you don't really get any of that context. And you should sense a theme, because that's kind of how it is the whole way through. Like, these things happen, but there's not really a lot of context for it. And you don't really learn anything about the characters. And the end is very anticlimactic. So it wasn't that good.
So you would not recommend it?
I would not, no.
Doesn't it have, maybe I'm wrong about this. Does it have Asano Tadanobu in it?
Perhaps. I don't remember the guy's name. He looked very familiar. Let me check.
I love that guy. The guy from Ichi the Killer. Kakihara from Ichi the Killer.
I am super into Japanese movies, and it does have that guy.
That was what intrigued me about it. But other than that, I mean, I hate Jared Leto, and I wish he was not in the new Blade Runner movie, because he's the worst.
He's just like dead-eyed and straight-faced the entire time. Like he doesn't have any emotion whatsoever, and he You don't learn anything about him. He's just this like creepy, quiet dude that does nothing, basically.
Did you see Batman versus Super? Or what is the one where he's the Joker? Suicide Squad?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a bad movie.
Was he a good Joker?
No. Worst Joker ever.
Oh, man.
I mean, well, if you put it up against like Heath Ledger or even Jack Nicholson, he's easily the worst. I didn't like what they did with that character at all.
Yeah, I mean, most DC movies now are the worst. So
well, they go about them all wrong. Like they have some guy make the movie and do an edit, and then the studio doesn't like it, so they give it to some trailer house, and it turns into this mess, and it's terrible. Or they have, so-and-so directing for a while, and then he's off the project, and they bring somebody else in and pick up where he left off, and it just, that doesn't work most of the time.
Yeah, they have a bad pipeline.
And unfortunately, that's what's going to happen to the Han Solo Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see, because I believe Ron Howard reshot 90% of that movie. I don't know if that's true, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. I guess we'll see it. It's coming out this summer, but
I have to say I'm less and less interested in the Star Wars movies as they go.
It's a real bummer, because we both had some problems with what we felt were plot holes and just bad things.
Bad decision-making.
In The Last Jedi, yeah. Which we don't have to get into now. We can do another podcast on that. But I don't know. I mean, J.J. Abrams is coming back for the next one, and that's the thing about the next 10 years. We're going to get infinite
and
Star
I think
Wars,
that's a problem,
so many things.
Quite honestly. I don't... it's going to get... If it's not already there, it's going to get to the point where you're going to have that fatigue. And it's just kind of like the way it is with Marvel movies now, where
I still love Marvel movies.
I still enjoy them. It's just that I'm to the point where I don't rush out to see them as soon as they come out.
But you're going to see Infinity War.
Yeah, I will definitely see Infinity War. But I still haven't seen Black Panther, and it took me weeks to see Thor. And
Thor was so good,
It was so good. And I think Black Panther is going to be really good as well.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. You run out of hype at some point.
Well, TBD. We will see what happens. But videos on the channel this week, I guess this past week, we had that Red Faction Guerrilla one, which you should check out. That's a game that I have not played, but you were really into.
It's so good.
And then Sea of Thieves is another thing we talked about and got sort of into discussion about Destiny 2. And the Blood Dragon one, which is another one we did. And then coming up on the channel, I know that we're going to have a Monster Hunter versus Destiny 2 discussion video that'll come up. It'll already have been out. And then we might have some other stuff coming on.
So I may record some gameplay so we can talk about Modern Warfare Remastered a little bit more in depth. And otherwise, we're still flying by the seat of our pants.
We're just getting off the ground, so stay tuned. This has been the inaugural episode of Starside Chat. So leave us a comment if you want us to talk about something. If you leave a bad comment, I'm going to delete it. But, all right. Do you have any parting words for our fan?
Like, comment, subscribe, and give us, if there's any game in particular you want to see us play, let us know.
All right, well, tune in next
Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Starside Chat.
All right, well, goodbye.
Goodbye.